how things ended for you? Where you at as you go into this one?
I thought we had a very successful season. Maybe not the the way we wanted to finish it, but I thought we competed. We made a lot of strides, throughout the season that helped a lot of us individually. Just preparing ourselves to be the best. You could have been in the situation you was in this year. So I think Coach did a hell of a job. Managing the guys and his coaching staff as well. Those guys, they got better throughout the year. So I think our season was a success, to be honest.
For you, how in how the playoffs went, how did it feel you did, just in terms of the way that you were able to perform and
the playoffs?
Yeah.
I haven't really had time to think about that. But as far as the season go, I try to separate the season from the playoffs, the results of the playoffs. It's kind of hard to remember how good of a season we had, with a playoff series or whatnot, not going the way you wanted. So I don't want to get up here and say nothing, that it's going to stick or, be, I don't know, give you guys a headline, and speaking on the playoffs and my performance. So I haven't had time to really think about it. So I'm going to save my piece on that. But as far as our season, I think it was a hell of a season from our guys.
In terms of, like, you talked about it before the playoffs started, in terms of just having a lot of guys get experience and get the feel for it and what it means. Like, can you guys build off of what you kind of experienced in that regard with all the young guys getting that first taste?
Yeah. We didn't get to see Nas in his first playoff experience play the way he wanted to play. We saw inconsistent Jaden McDaniels kind of throughout the year, and then see him have one of his best games in the playoffs. So it's just kind of those little wins right there that you can kind of write down and feed off of going into the summer, knowing you got something, a foundation for the season. So I think that's what it did for a lot of our guys. It just gave guys confidence, gave guys a direction to work towards individually, and ways you can be better for a team as well.
With how the final game went, were you okay kind of watching from the bench at the end of there, or just did you want to be in there?
No, not at all.
So you wanted to be on the floor there?
You want to do your job right now? You want to tweet about it? You want to create a news report on it? You want to do all that, right? So, of course I want to be out. I'm not coming at it. I'm just saying, of course.
Before the season started, you came into training camp saying that you were kind of looking at this as a contract year because you're eligible for an extension coming up here. How do you think you set yourself up for any potential offers, or how that process might play out over the summer?
I don't like to speak on that, man. It kind of comes back to, haunt you a lot of the times, and I'd rather just, there's nothing there's nothing more that I can do to showcase my worth or the number that I'm looking for or anything like that. So I just would rather not entertain myself with that until the time comes. Speaking on it now, it may haunt me in summer league. Y'all ask me a question and y'all bringing up this, so I just would rather not.
In general, when you got here, you and Karl, it took a while for you guys to really play together a lot. First 2 years, he was hurt, you were hurt. And this year you finally got to play a significant body of games together. How do you feel just your chemistry with him has developed over the course of the season?
I think it was rocky, to be honest. I think it was like we were figuring it out, and then we had either COVID or something happen, and it kind of caused him to be out, caused me to be out. Our team was, you didn't know who was going to be out there as far as that window of when every team was getting hit with the COVID bug. So that kind of stunted our growth. I think we're such fans of each other that we found a way to make it work in moments where we obviously probably didn't have the chemistry because we didn't play together as much as we would have thought. So I think just over the time of us playing, our chemistry is continuing to grow, and he makes the game easy. When you're out there playing against some of these teams and they don't know how to guard him, they don't know how to guard myself, and you got multiple guys that are attacking as well. So I never really been in that position to where I'm going into the game knowing that the team's not, they're probably not worried about me as much, you know, and it gives me that, it gives me that lane to kind of look at it from a different perspective and try to attack it from a different way, you know, because they're prepared for this guy, that hit, that punch. So this year it put me in a role of just figuring out how I was going to attack things out. So that allowed our chemistry to kind of be just a little up and down, you know.
You feel like good progress was made in that way, and how do you feel like maybe is the best way moving forward in seasons here to make sure all three of you are maximizing one another on a nightly basis?
See, I don't want to say the wrong thing on that either, man. I just would rather not, because I think that can go a way that I don't want it to go, you know, as far as me thinking I have the answer to that, you know. So I just think just time, you know, us working out in the summer and getting that chemistry, wherever those guys are, I try to make my way there and vice versa. And we just get that chemistry that we need, you know. Like I said, our chemistry was kind of put on hold a lot of the times. Me and Kat, Ant and myself, like just the chemistry. I think we need more time together to keep working at it.
I think a lot of people view this as like the beginning for this group this season.
Yeah, similar to that.
Yeah, so looking to make a jump next year, and you know maybe the West will be even tougher. Like what as a team, what do you guys see as like, okay, here is where we can make our biggest jump heading into next year? Is it as simple as experience, or?
See, I'm trying to stay away from those, thinking I know it, thinking I have the answer to it. I don't know, like as far as what we could do, what would help our team, because I don't know what our team's gonna look like.
Ever since you got here in Minnesota, you've been the biggest fan and the loudest fan of guys like Jalen Noel, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid. How important is it to you to be a leader and to kind of instill confidence in those young guys?
I mean, I think that's just what I have, what I bring to the table. You know, just being a player that's kind of seen a lot, been through a little bit. When I see players lacking or what they need, they're lacking, what they're missing, they don't have it. They need a little battery in their back, or just some words of encouragement, or just some guidance. I recognize it, and I try to sprinkle that on them and hold them accountable, and just lead by example. It's only so much I can do, but if you're watching me and you see it and you hear me, it's kind of you get familiar with it. And those guys, I feel like they could be more than what they showcased this year. It's just about the opportunity, but knowing that you're ready, don't second guess that you're ready, knowing it, and once you get that opportunity, you'll be ready and you'll take advantage of it because your mind was right and your preparation was right, versus being in that situation and not being ready, and you fumble that bag, you fumble that opportunity because you just mentally probably wasn't in the right space, or you just weren't prepared for that opportunity.
Angelo, Kat, and Ant were in here before you, and they were talking about ways that the two of them can play off of each other a little more. Kat talked about more chase actions. Ant talked about how his assists need to go up to him. From your perspective, how do those two in two-man game become even more dynamic going forward?
I just think watching basketball, just watching the game, it's easy to become a fan of basketball and want to see the dunks, and there's another element to it that you get from watching it. It's learning how to win. It's learning how to make the players around you better. It's learning how to not get too high and never get too low. It's little things like that you learn from just watching basketball. There's a lot of greats that are still in the game that you can take so much from. And I think for them, just continuing to watch the game and add those tools that you're learning from the guys that are around. Like, you still see the Chris Pauls around. You still see some of these older guys that are still doing it. And me, I ask myself how and why. What are they doing that, some of the younger guys, and that comes with experience, obviously, but then it comes with the element that you're not really being taught, and that's just watching the game. So To answer your question, wherever they could be better, they're obviously gifted, and talented, and the sky's the limit. But there's an element that I think everybody could be better at by, just watching a little more, studying a little more.
D'Angelo, it seems like in general this team was a good story this year in terms of maybe exceeding expectations or doing things that haven't been done here in a while. Do you think things change at all going into next season in terms of expectations-wise? You've been to the playoffs now, and maybe, is there going to be a different vibe in terms of what is going to be expected of what you guys can do to build off of this and maybe no longer be just an unexpected good story and expect to do well?
Yeah, you hope so. When you go through what you go through a rebuilding process. The next step after that is your foundation on like who's going to be here, who's going to be around, what is our team going to look like, and when you have a year like we did, we got a lot of guys that are free agents. We got a lot of guys that were on 1-year deals. We got a lot of guys that may not be here. So it's just like, yeah, you want that hype, you want all of that, but it's got to play out to where we're ready for that. We're ready for that versus we think we're ready and we haven't made the strides we're supposed to make, and then we'll become just the story that was good last year, and they're not that good this year. So try not to be that, and like I said, it just comes down to everybody going away this summer, getting better, and whoever comes back, being committed to that.
And then when you first arrived here, you kind of talked a little bit about how we're moving around the league a little bit and looking for stability and a place. Do you think has progress been made that way with this organization? Do you, in terms of looking at the last few years and how it's gone and where you think it can go for you from a stability standpoint?
Yeah, I've never really been a part of a complete rebuild, from coaching, front office, to GMs, to ownership, to things like that. So that's fairly new for me. But as far as the stability and organization showing that they want you and things like that, that's what a player wants. You know what I mean? So for me, that was amazing this year. Being a part of something like this where it's been a while since this organization has been in that position. So for me, like I said, it was just special to be a part of it.
D'Angelo, a lot of players have spoken really highly of Chris Finch. Torian said yesterday that he'd like to be back here, and Finch was a huge reason why. Just from your view, what has Coach Finch done to help make this team really special, and just what is your experience playing for him and seeing him interact with you?
I think he puts a lot of guys in a good position to just be the best them. He gives you the free reins to. He just gives you the free reins to be a basketball player on the court. Like, he's not putting a lot of guys in a box. We got a young team, so putting a young player in a box can dictate his career. So I think he's done a good job with just managing the young guys and just giving them a process to work towards every day, coming in knowing it's a workspace to be a part of, and it's not just like just come in and just do nothing. I've seen that. So for him, just seeing that he had structure around our group, so I think that was probably one of the most positive things. Appreciate y'all.